the center of the universe and the Thrive15.com world headquarters.
Let's go!
Presenting the world's only business school without the BS with optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner and the former Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year in your ear, Clay Clark. It's the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170. 3, 2, 1, boom!
What is going on there, Thrive Nation? Welcome back to the Thrive Time Show during your drive time home. It's a fantastic Friday, and for many of you, you are headed into a super weekend. Many of you have got plans to grill. Some of you have plans just to marinate and chill. Some of you are going to go over next door and talk to that neighbor about who knows what for an hour and a half. You're just going to have a relaxed weekend. But Z, Dr. Zellner, before we get into this great weekend, we have got an action-packed show for the Thrivers. Sir, how are you doing on this Friday?
I am fantastic. And it's not just any Friday.
Oh, it's not just any Friday.
No. This signals capitalism's profit march to the end of the year. That's that nasty word P, the profit, money.
Well, here's the deal.
Black Friday. So they say that, really from here on out, the sales at the end of the year for most companies, this is their profit for the year.
They go from red and operating at a loss,
yes,
into the black,
yes,
operating at a profit, all during 1 month.
Yes, and that's why it's called Black Friday.
Oh, see, this just did from our home office. A lot of people listening did not know that, my friend. They did not know that.
Well, now they do, and that's why they listen to the show, to get little nuggets, to get little knowledge bomb nuggets like that. There we go. There's the bomb.
Oh, nice. Knowledge bomb
Boom.
Number one. And we're just getting started. Now, Z.
And a lot of people are driving home. I just want to correct you. A lot of people are driving away from the mall after they've slept overnight to get the Black Friday deal, or they're in Best Buy right now streaming us.
I was trying to be politically correct. Okay, let me reset. Many of you are on your way driving home after you spent the night in a tent to get a Samsung 72-inch TV half off for $100.
Yeah.
Many of you are just now waking up from that all-nighter that the entire night of time you've invested in getting those Black Friday specials. And some of you are recovering from injuries because a lady was trying to grab an item off the shelf before you. You went in there to get a little nice gift for your grandson or niece or something. And that woman tried to grab that item off the shelf before you, and so you you started to throw a little kung fu kick.
Oh, yeah.
Now you found yourself injured. You got a chipped tooth.
You got a chipped tooth, and these are just the kind of go-getters. These are just the kind of go-getters that are looking to start or grow their business, Clay, and that's why we know that those are the people listening to us today.
Absolutely. Now, Thrivers, listen to this. Now, we're talking today about the 12 core tasks of your accounting and finance team. So why should you listen? I'm gonna ask you a few questions here. Do you ever feel like you are never on the same page with your accountant or bookkeeper? Like you just never quite know what they're thinking, what they're doing?
They're talking so confusing.
And I think a lot of times, the jargon, it's overwhelming for some people. Is this you? Do you ever feel like you're missing something in the accounting department? Like you're just going, did we pay Barry? Did we pay Billy?
What happened?
Did Billy get paid?
Billy?
Why did we pay Billy? Do you ever
Billy?
feel overwhelmed by your company's accounting needs? Do you ever feel like, file this, file that. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to talk to the state. I got to get my LLC re-updated. Do you ever feel overwhelmed? If you do, then today's show is for you. We're talking about the 12 core tasks of your accounting and financing team. Now, I'm going to give you a notable quotable coming in hot from Erica. Coming in hot here from Erica Reese here. This is what he says. This is the author of the Lean Startup Method. He says, after more than 10 years as an entrepreneur, I came to reject that line of thinking. I have learned from both my own successes and failures and those of many others that it's the boring stuff that matters the most. That's not very fun on this Black Friday. Boring stuff. Startup success is not a consequence of good genes or being in the right place at the right time. Startup success can be engineered by following the right process. Oh, you mean you take the luck out of it?
What? That doesn't seem fair.
Now, which means it can be learned, and which means it can be taught. Now, here, Z, I want to dwell on this because a lot of people right now, you're getting into the holiday season.
Yeah.
You're being very thankful. You had a great Thanksgiving, but some of you are starting to look at other people who are successful and saying, wouldn't it be nice if I was so successful? Because you're thinking like that it's basically that they are successful because they were born into the right family, the right genes, the right. People believe that though.
a spoon of silver.
And we're going to teach you the proven systems.
Yes.
But I want to ask you, growing up, did you grow up with a silver spoon?
No, we had sporks. That way we could double them as a fork and a spoon, and they weren't silver. I think they were kind of a brown.
How many kids were in your family growing up?
7.
Seven kids.
Six boys and 1 girl.
Wow, and then you had basically 3 different kind of pseudo dads, right? 3 different dads, different father figures.
Yeah, I guess you could. But now you're just throwing math out there. Now you're just throwing math.
So you had a would you consider it a stable childhood? Was it unstable? Did you move a lot? Did you live in the same house a lot?
Well, every time the police showed up, we had to move. No, I'm teasing.
Okay,
teasing.
this just it.
I'm Jokey McJokerson.
That's right.
No, I mean I would say it was stable. I would say I would use the word stable to describe my childhood.
Yeah.
And we didn't move a lot.
Okay.
We moved a few times.
Did your family, when you wanted to start your business, did they go, well, here's the first 100,000. Here you go.
I wish they did. Boy, wouldn't that have been nice?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't
yeah.
it be nice? Now, so you started with
You want that cash or a check?
So you started from the bottom.
Start from the bottom.
Okay. And so you've learned these systems. You've learned how to become successful.
You have to if you're going to be successful. You have to listen to today's show and master these moves if you want to be successful in business.
So you believe anybody who's listening could learn these skills, and if they applied the same systems that you're applying, they could have success.
Absolutely. At 100% guarantee that in my mind. I know that to be an absolute factoid.
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
So core task number 1 here, Thrivers. Core task, you ask, what is core task? Number 1. Okay, here it is. Core task number 1. This is big. You must have a system in place to verify that your team members are being paid on time. Nothing
they
kills
fuss.
trust.
They will fuss if you don't make sure they get their money.
Now, we had a young lady today. I feel bad, but this is a true story. Young lady today, and you go, why do you tell us these bad stories? It makes us lose confidence. Because I'm being real. I'm trying to help you, okay? She comes up to me, and apparently she turned in something to her to be paid last week, and apparently she did not get the payment she was expecting.
Huh.
And so this has never happened to her before. Excuse me, Thrivers. I'm very, very, very emotional about this. But she also, this is the first time it's ever happened. It hasn't happened in a long time in the business, but she didn't get paid for something she was expecting.
Yeah.
And so I saw the look in her face, because whenever you talk to your boss about not getting paid for something, you almost don't want to upset the boss. You don't want to, but you're also upset.
Yeah. I mean, you think is there something nefarious going on here?
Yeah.
Is this just all some big shell game, a shamockery?
A shamockery?
Is this a shamockery? They tell me one thing, and now they're giving me something else? I mean, what is going on here?
Can these
guys be trusted?
It causes a whole host of questions to be asked. And so
absolutely.
All you need to do here, Thrivers, this isn't a complicated thing. I want you to go ahead and set a time, if you own a business, to pay your team members a set time. Like, not just like if you get a chance, because a lot of you are listening right now, you are the marketer, you're the salesperson, you're the product provider, you're the recruiter. You wear a lot of hats because you're a business owner.
Sure.
But you have to have a specific time set aside, block it out to pay your team.
Yeah, you have to.
See, when you were growing your optometry clinic, how quickly before you began to delegate the bookkeeping? How quickly was it before you started to delegate that payroll and that whole thing? How many minutes, how many weeks, how long were you in business?
About 6 months before I mean, it was me and I had one employee, and probably the first 6 months I did everything. I kind of had to figure it out, and it wasn't fun, and it's not my skill set. So it was, gnashing of teeth and, pulling what few hairs I have left out of my head out.
You have a beautiful head.
Thank you. But, short about 6 months, and I had a family member come in and who had the skill set and took it over. And helped me out on that. And then finally we got so busy where I had to go up to the family member and say, I appreciate you helping, but between the kids, your kids, I should say, and tennis and all the things you're doing, you're not getting my accounting done in time. So I'm going to hire an accountant. So AKA your services are no longer required.
But if you're listening right now, I'm just telling you, if you have someone if you're the business owner and you've hired someone to do accounting, you have to have a set time to follow up with them. You just have to have a set time to make sure things are getting done right.
Absolutely. And to go over your P&Ls and all the other things that you have set up that we're going to cover today. But you've got to have that. You got to have that system in place. And, really now partial CFOs and partial accountants and guys that do your books on small scale are very affordable. You may see it out there and go, I can't afford an accountant. I can't afford a CPA.
I can't afford that.
I can't afford that. Well, you can, because they can dummy it down and do part. They can do a part. I mean, they're not your full-time staff members. I mean, now I have some that are full-time staff members, but it took years to get to that point, what I called, critical mass, to where it made sense to hire someone full-time. So
now, Thrivers, moving on to core task number 2. You must have a system in place to verify that your team members are paid accurately. See, the first part is on time.
yeah.
The second part is accurately. And you got to make sure, because, Z, have you ever had employees who've turned in false expenses to be reimbursed for, false mileage, false anything? Have you ever in the years of employing hundreds, maybe at this point, well, I guess at this point, thousands of people, have you ever had an employee turn in false information, Z? Has it ever happened? Your sound effect came in before my sound effect, but this is my sound effect that I want to hit.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever had an employee mislead you with dishonest reimbursements?
Yes, I have. In fact, it happened when we set up the auto auction. I found out the hard way that the lady that set up all the payroll happened to set herself up at 1.5 times the salary that I had agreed to.
That's a hot move for her.
It's a hot move for her, and until you go in and verify and you check and you get the payroll statements, which she would be the one that get those statements, and she would be the one verified. I'd go, I'd meet with her and go, everything verified, everything good. She's my controller, everything good. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. Okay, great. Except she wouldn't tell me that. And then I finally figured it out. I said, what were you thinking? And after the break, I'll tell you what she was thinking.
Now, Thrivers, have a notable quotable I'm going to sneak in here before the break. Checklists seem lowly and simplistic, but they help fill in for the gaps in our brains and between the gaps between our brains and between our brains. That's Atul Gawande. Stay tuned. Payroll excitement.
Live, local, now. You're listening to the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show during typically your drive time home. But for many of you, you're just starting to drive home from a fabulous day of shopping. You're not driving home from work. You're driving home from shopping. You've been out there buying various accoutrements that you go in there first with the altruistic goal of getting some discounted items for your family and friends, your loved ones. But then you get into Best Buy and you go, or Sam's Club is the worst. You go into Sam's Club and you go, I might need a blender too. And all of a sudden you're buying, I might need a huge sausage too. I might need a big old cheese selection as well. And now you've bought all these items for yourself. You bought everything you don't need in bulk at Sam's.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home feeling guilty. You're going to wrap half of that stuff for those people. The other half you're going to keep for yourself. And Z, really that's what Black Friday is all about, my friend.
Yes, spending money. That's what it's about.
Copious amounts of spending.
Copious amounts of spending.
You're helping America's retail sector get profitable.
Amen to that.
Now, here's the deal, Thrivers. We're talking about a subject today that I know a lot of people, we need to be talking about. But we're not going to talk about it because it's not exciting. We need to talk about it, but we don't talk about it because it's not exciting.
Well, that's why we're the #1 business show in Tulsa,
Absolutely,
Oklahoma.
the #1 of all the shows.
Because we'll tackle the subjects that just aren't sexy. We're going to tackle the subjects that you need to learn, you need to go through, and yet you're like, it's not fun.
But the reason why we can tackle a not sexy subject, Z?
And why is that?
Because you're sexy.
Oh.
And so you bring a certain sexiness to any subject. So we could be talking about anything. We could be talking about chlorophyll. We could be talking about nomenclature and chlorophyll, and there's still a certain herbal essence.
You see, kids, chlorophyll, that's what makes oxygen. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's...
Now, here's the deal, Thrivers. We're talking about core task number 2. Before the break, I teased you with a little notable quotable. But here's the core task number 2. A system is in place to verify that your team members are paid accurately. You must have a system to make sure they're paid accurately. But Atul Gawande, my main man who wrote the Checklist Manifesto, he has a quote that at first pass might not make a lot of sense, but we're going to get into it, okay? He says, checklists seem lowly and simplistic, but they help fill in for the gaps in our brains and in between our brains. Z, the checklists free up our mind.
They do free up our mind. And let me finish my story.
Yes.
That we went into the break on.
Give us the story.
So I sit down with this lady and I figure out that she's paying herself 1.5 times the agreed salary.
Not good.
And I'm just like, my brain was exploding. So I sat her down.